What's up, everyone? Ruppy here, RuppDat, PokeRupp, however you want to refer to me at this point. I know it has been an extremely long time since I've done anything, and sadly that's par for the course. I don't exactly like it, but it is what it is. But I hope you guys are having a happy holiday. I cannot talk tonight, for whatever reason. Whatever you are celebrating, whenever this video goes up, whether it's Christmas, New Year's, whatever it may be, hope you're having a splendid time with your families. I figured I'd make this as a bit of a update video slash 2017 in retrospective kind of thing. Even though this wasn't really a banner year for me in terms of anything, and well, I'm going to divide this up into a couple different pieces. Consider this kind of the general overview beforehand. I am going to put a list of time codes down in the description that kind of goes over all the bullet points if you want to check out anything that's specific to you, because I am uploading this to both of my channels, even though, well, it's just to increase traffic and just to make sure everyone who needs to see it or wants to see it gets a chance to see it. But the bullet points will all be there in the description if you just skip around. To make a long story short, 2017 was not a great year for me in terms of content. And this is kind of par for the course at this point. It has been for quite some time, and I'm aware of that. I know at this point it seems like the best move, I guess, would be maybe just to throw in the towel. I still don't mind making content, and it is a good thing to help me relax, de-stress, unwind, etc., and gives me something creative to do for quite some time. The thing that sets me apart from a lot of other people who would probably be in this position is little reminder that I am actually not a paid content creator in any sense of the word. I do not get paid for any of the things I do. I just do them just for the sake of fun, sharing them, etc. So I'm not a big YouTuber. I probably never will be at this point, and I don't exactly mind that fact. I've long since accepted it, but I still want to be able to do something. That said, I am not a fan of the lack of consistency, as much as you guys certainly aren't at this point, because it's pretty hard to maintain a fan base when you have a short burst of content and then don't do anything for a couple months. 2018 is a year where I'm looking to hopefully change that, because I'm looking at 2018 as a rebuilding year for me as a whole, mostly as a person, but also just in general with all the stuff I want to do. I'm working on trying to get some stuff set up to be able to do some freelance graphic design work, get some extra money coming in on the side in addition to the job I'm working right now. Anything to try and turn my financial situation around, because I'm just going to be up front right now. It's not the greatest. I'm not using this as a please take pity on me sympathy call just to try to beg for money, because if you want to donate, be my guest. But I'm not gonna just throw my information out there and just expect people to suddenly start having money flooding into my house. I'm just gonna do what I can and see what happens. If things turn around for YouTube and whatnot, so be it. But 2018 basically is going to be a rebuilding year as far as I'm concerned as a whole. In regards to that, let's start off with the RuppDat channel, since it is my main channel, essentially. 2017, I didn't do a whole hell of a lot. This is kind of not a surprise. Probably the most noteworthy things I did, really, were I finally finished South Park Stick of Truth after that's been kind of lingering around for far too long, like the Nazi zombies that just would not stay dead. And I also finally revisited and gave proper closure to my Backyard Soccer Rise of the Mighty Boots series. The reason I was so adamant on getting those done in the bursts I did was for one reason and one reason only, and it was a change that YouTube made this year that, to some degree, I still don't agree with. And that being the removal of the annotation system. Just to kind of keep everything copacetic between all of my videos for those respective series, I wanted to get them done and uploaded and set up with the annotation system before YouTube killed it off back in May or June of this year, whenever that was. So that's the reason why I actually doubled down on my efforts to make sure those were all taken care of. So I could get them finished, everything would still look all nice and neat the whole video playlist through. The original intent was that my next Let's Play was going to be Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, the Let's Play that I initially started as the replacement project when Stick of Truth ran into technical problems, and then went on hiatus itself due to its own technical issues. Since I wasn't that far into it, I was going to just do a complete reboot of it. Touch up a few of the things that I was planning on doing with it. Just go from there. That's still the plan. The problem is I have once again run into technical issues that are causing me quite a few headaches that I'm trying to find some workarounds to. Give me 1 second. Sorry for the abrupt cut there. Was going to show something and then decided against it. I would rather just kind of keep it on the down low for now. Maybe I'll show you guys in another way, but down the line. But basically, I have a brand new computer setup. I am no longer relying solely on the laptops I have owned because it's become painfully obvious that I've been putting way too much strain on them for stuff like this and my design endeavors. So I have a full-fledged dual monitor gaming desktop setup now. It was not cheap, especially since I pretty much used money I really don't have. But the basic idea is to hopefully be able to use it to produce much better quality for everything all around. And for some reason, it hasn't really worked out the best so far in regards to my setup for Thousand Year Door, mostly because the Elgato game capture setup, for whatever reason, just doesn't want to cooperate with me, even on a brand new computer where it should, in theory, have no problems, because this thing more than matches the specs of Elgato in general. I know I'm not using an HD60, I'm still using the original model, but even still, the Thousand Year Door is not a 60 FPS game. It's nowhere close. I mean, it's a composite setup. But for whatever reason, I made an attempt to try to get some episodes recorded a little while ago. Video playback came back. For whatever reason, the video feed playback not only stuttered in spots, but also just kind of stopped recording halfway through the actual episode I was trying to record, which I was not happy to notice when I finally got done with it. But I think I might have a workaround figured out. I need to actually toy with it and test it. I'm going to do that in the before 2017 is done, just to figure it out, see if it actually works. The basic plan right now, as far as the RuppDat channel is concerned, is Thousand Year Door tentatively is still the next Let's Play I'm going to do. I'm going to see if my workaround actually does in fact work, and if it does, I'm going to try to get a whole bunch of episodes recorded, edited in advance, just so that way I can try to actually have a consistent presentation, that I've got episodes I'm uploading at a fairly frequent rate while I'm setting aside time to be able to work on other episodes down the line, to hopefully be able to start turning things around. If for whatever reason I'm still on Stick of Truth. For whatever reason, if Thousand Year Door is still going to provide me with technical issues, then at this point, I'm just going to, as much as I really want to do it and continue on with the Paper Mario series, if it's still going to give me problems, I'm just going to scrap the project entirely and move on to something else. I do have a backup plan, but I'm not ready to reveal what that is just yet, because that's going to be my follow-up Let's Play after Thousand Year Door. Damn it. After Thousand Year Door, assuming it doesn't end up having to take over. We'll see how that one plays out. Switching gears now to my PokeRupp channel, which to some degree was the more active channel this year. I know there's probably confusion as to why I'm actually trying to run two separate channels out of this. I was just trying to keep all the content separated, because I'm not sure if anyone who actually did or still wants to actively watch the RuppDat channel wants to see me just focusing on Pokemon related content solely in bursts. I know some channels have been able to do that effectively. Some do it on a fairly frequent basis, or they've merged their channels or whatever. At some point down the line, I may merge the two channels, just have RuppDat be my one and only channel. We'll see how it goes, but until then, until I can get a sense of if that's really the right move I want to do out of this, I'm just going to kind of keep them separate. As far as 2017 is concerned for that, I fell into an old trap, even though I tried my best not to. I started sharing content which was almost exclusively me and my partaking of draft format leagues of various kinds. Did not entirely work out for me because I got to points where I got pretty far into the season and then just kind of stopped doing videos. As much as I wanted to try to cut that trend, it ended up happening again with the SAPL. For those curious how that SAPL season ended up, as far as Season 2 is concerned, I did make it to the SAPL Championship, which was my very first appearance in a draft format championship in general, which was... Normally, I end up making the playoffs and then getting knocked out at some point. First time I ever made the championship game. Unfortunately, I did end up losing that championship game 4-0 to the Wilmington Wingulls. So, congratulations to them for winning Season 2. We are also pretty much in the closing endeavors of Season 3 right now. I did not record any of it, mostly because of the fact that Season 2 kind of fell apart on me, and I've really had no time to dedicate to recording Season 3. If anyone's curious how that went, I end up with a 6-4 record, slightly worse than my 7-3 record, even though on paper I had a much better team. Got knocked out in the semifinals by, well, the quarterfinals actually, by a new team to the league in the El Paso Minans, who are actually one of the two finalists for this year's season. That the finals game should be played at some point this upcoming week as of when I'm recording this. The other finalist team being my old pals, the Los Angeles Rusherams, so that should be a really interesting game. The idea is that with Season 4 shifting over to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, since Season 3 started before those games were released and we decided we were just going to stick it out with Sun and Moon until the season ended. With Season 4 transitioning to Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, I'm going to make an attempt to try to basically completely finish a draft format season this time around, as far as recording content is concerned, so I can try to establish myself, maybe see if any of the YouTube-specific draft format leagues will want to take me on then. I do have other draft format leagues I'm in as well that I'm hoping to also be able to present. There is the PSBC, whose acronym I've never been able to figure out. I've never bothered asking about it. They're a showdown league I've been associated with for a couple seasons now. I may start doing content with them after our current season comes to an end, since we're about halfway through it already, and it doesn't seem fair to jump in halfway through. I believe the A-Drive Army Battle League will probably be starting up at some point early next year as well. If it does, I will be more than happy to try to jump back into that and go from there. I guess part of the reason that I've got this newfound fire to really try to nail down a steady draft format upload thing and actually go all the way through is partly inspired by what I feel is a bit of an affront to the brand I've built. That being my Columbus SWU, which that was my original idea. I thought it was pretty clever when I first came up with it years ago, and I've been proudly representing it since, especially since I'm a proud Ohio native. And yet, the GBA recently announced that one of the new teams coming in this season is this evil organization called the Columbus Chew. And I feel a little insulted that there's this quote-unquote evil organization besmirching the good name of Columbus, and basically, I feel like it's a bit of a challenge to the brand I built. Calling them out isn't really going to do anything because I'm not in the GBA, I'm not associated with the GBA. If I ever make it to the GBA, it'll be a miracle, and even if I do, the Columbus Chew will probably be long gone by that point. Maybe if I call them out, maybe I'll get a battle out of them for supremacy, but can't exactly make any promises on that, but we'll see where that one goes. Barring that, I do want to actually do more with my PokeRupp channel, because obviously right now it's just draft format content, and sticking strictly to that is not entirely the best thing. since obviously not everyone wants to see draft format 24/7. That is kind of a bit of a channel killer to some degree. I was planning on doing a couple of Nuzlocke runs. I'm still planning on doing that. It's just a matter of trying to find the right balance right now between that, which is a fairly frequent upload schedule in of itself, beyond just a one video a week thing, as well as the whole Let's Play channel thing, because it's essentially another Let's Play. It's just a more specialized one, which I don't feel would fit well on the RuppDat channel. One thing I am planning on doing, however, I don't know if my little PAX hoodie here gave it away, even though it's kind of hard to see just because of the lighting and all that. I did visit PAX West earlier this year, and I was in fact a gym leader again, an Elite 5 member actually, for the PAX Pokemon League again. I was Sans. Unfortunately, my cosplay was incomplete because the mask I created for it got destroyed on the flight. Thanks, airlines. But despite that, I am planning on doing a little mini-series to kind of go over some of the battles I had for that, kind of as a prelude to PAX East 2018, which I am currently planning on attending, since I was unable to attend East this year. It was in the plans, but I had to scrap them because of financial reasons. On that same note, in regards to PAX, East might be the one and only one I attend next year. I might, as much as I've grown accustomed to going to West and love the city of Seattle to death, I might forego it because out of the two, Boston is cheaper to me because it is much closer. If my financial situation turns around, I might try to swing West as well, but the current plan is to attend East for the first time, just kind of establish myself there for the PAX Pokemon League, check out a new PAX, new convention center, see how that one goes, and then go from there, see how things turn out with West later this year and all that. But yeah, as far as the PokeRupp channel is concerned, the current plan right now is I am going to work on a little series to kind of go over some of the battles I had from West this past year, because I did have some really good battles, and I'm actually really happy to show off the Undertale themed team I created, because I think it's actually a really good Undertale theme, probably one of the best I've ever seen personally, just to kind of share it with you guys and go from there. And then once things pick up draft format wise, and once I get things figured out as far as a recording schedule goes, the Nuzlocke will follow suit. Another thing I want to address that's kind of separate from YouTube as a whole, because even though I wonder if YouTube's actually going to throw a hissy fit about this, since they kind of seem to have been doing so a lot lately. One thing I did make an attempt to try to start this year was live streaming over on Twitch. I did one live stream a couple months ago. It was just a simple little hour and a half run through a couple runs of Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, which I do still need to get used to Afterbirth Plus because it is a whole different ballgame from Afterbirth. It was fairly alright, I think, even though I think I only got maybe 2 or 3 viewers ultimately. I did get 1 follower out of it. I have not streamed since again, however, mostly because I needed to figure out my whole setup thing, because while I was able to stream from my laptop in that instance, I am not able to do that now. I do have my gaming set up now, but I need to get stuff transferred over and figured out as far as that's concerned. But one thing I really want to do in 2018, in addition to an overall rebuilding of everything from myself personally to what I'm doing online as far as YouTube and all that's concerned, I do want to start live streaming on a more consistent basis, see if I can get a schedule going for that, just stream a whole bunch of different stuff. Not sure exactly how I'm going to do that just yet from a standpoint of what I'm going to play, because there are so many things I could play. Part of me wants to think that some of the longer, more in-depth projects in terms of story length or complexity or anything like that I was going to do as future Let's Play projects, I might end up just streaming them instead. I will definitely not do that as far as projects that I want to actually upload to YouTube with all the extra bells and whistles that I'm prone to doing, because that's just me, the ever-creative soul here. But I'm still trying to figure out how on earth I want to go about all of this, because streaming is still completely new territory for me. It's a lot easier to just sit here and talk in front of a camera for something that's going to be viewed at a later date, as opposed to doing it live and interacting with people. That's still a whole new ball game for me, but I'm trying to work out the kinks to it, and hopefully 2018 I'll be able to stream on a more consistent basis, and we'll see where things go from there in regards to that. So I think that about covers everything I want to talk about. I know this video is quite lengthy, but it's kind of a retrospect, and I wanted to just make sure I covered all of my bases as best I could in regards to what's happened, what's been going on, and what I'm hoping to accomplish next year. That said, I want to make one thing really clear right now. I am not going to make any promises. As much as I want to use 2018 as a rebuilding year overall, I'm not going to make any promises that I'm going to fully commit to anything, solely because of the fact that I don't like giving promises that I can't keep. If I tell people that, yes, I'm going to absolutely put out all this great stuff, and then something happens and I can't deliver on it, because you never know what life's going to throw at you, then, yeah, that's backlash I would rather not have to deal with. But I am going to do my best to see how I can rebuild going forward and what happens with it, and if you guys want to stick along for the ride, I would greatly appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see what 2018 brings. So thank you guys so very much for watching. I have been RuppDat / PokeRupp / Ruppy / insert any other name you want to call me here, I suppose. I hope you guys had a fantastic 2017, and I look forward to seeing you guys in 2018, hopefully with the rebuild underway to, I guess, get everything back on track and hopefully be a little more consistent with everything as a whole. Take care, guys.